everyone, and welcome back to the Slow English channel, where we speak English slowly, clearly, and naturally, so you can feel calm, confident, and ready to speak with us. I'm Daisy from London.
And I'm Peter from New York.
It is such a pleasure to have you here in the studio with me today, Peter. I know you only just arrived in London this morning. How are you feeling after the flight across the Atlantic?
I am feeling surprisingly awake, Daisy. Thank you for having me. The flight was long, of course, but the coffee in your studio is excellent. I must say, coming from the hustle and bustle of New York City, London always feels slightly different. It has a different rhythm.
Indeed, it does. We like to think we are a bit more polite, perhaps a bit quieter than New York.
That is definitely true. In New York, everyone walks fast and talks even faster. That is why I am so happy to be here on the Slow English channel. It forces me to slow down, to breathe, and to really think about the words I'm using. It's a nice change of pace.
That is exactly why we are here, to slow down, to analyze, to understand. Today, Peter and I have prepared a true masterclass for our listeners. We are going to discuss the holy grail of language learning. We are going to talk about fluency.
Fluency. It's a word I hear every single day in my consulting work. Every student, from beginners to advanced CEOs, comes to me and says, "Peter, I just want to be fluent." But Daisy, I think we need to define what that actually means.
That is a very important point. Often, students confuse fluency with speed. They think if they speak incredibly fast, they are fluent. But from a phonetic perspective, speed is often the enemy of clarity. If you speak fast but your pronunciation is incorrect, no one understands you, and that is not fluency.
Exactly. In my 20 years of teaching, I have defined fluency as flow. It's the ability to connect your thoughts to your speech without hesitation that causes a breakdown in communication. It's about being comfortable. You know, Daisy, I had a student recently, a high-level engineer. He knew more vocabulary than I did, but when he spoke, he froze.
I know that situation well. It's heartbreaking to watch.
It is. He was so afraid of making a grammar mistake that he lost his flow. So today, we want to give you practical, actionable tips to achieve that flow. We want to combine my American pragmatic approach with Daisy's expertise in British phonetics and pronunciation.
We have a lot to cover. We will talk about the psychology of speaking, the importance of listening, and specific pronunciation techniques like connected speech. But first, let us address the elephant in the room: fear.
Fear is the biggest barrier. It's not vocabulary, it's not grammar, it's the fear of looking foolish.
I agree completely. In my 15 years of teaching here in London, I have seen students who are terrified of their own accents. They apologize before they even speak. They say, "Sorry, my English is bad." Listeners, if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: do not apologize for learning.
That is beautiful, Daisy. You know, when I travel, like on this trip to London, I sometimes have to use French if I connect through Paris. My French is, well, it's not perfect, but I do not apologize. I use what I have. To learn English fluently, you must accept that mistakes are necessary. They're the stepping stones to success.
Precisely. Let's look at this linguistically. When you're afraid, your muscles tense up, your jaw becomes tight, your tongue becomes stiff. To pronounce English well, especially the difficult vowel sounds, you need a relaxed mouth. If you're stressed, you cannot physically make the sounds correctly.
So, tip number 1 for fluency: relax your body. It sounds simple, but it's profound. Now, let's move to a very technical aspect of fluency that I know you're an expert in, Daisy: connected speech.
Yes, this is my favorite topic. Students often learn English word by word. They learn what do you do, but in reality, native speakers don't speak like robots. We link words together. We smash them together.
We certainly do. In New York, what do you do becomes what do you do?
And here in London, it might sound a bit more like whatcha do. This is called connected speech or catenation. If you try to pronounce every single letter perfectly, you'll sound stilted. You won't sound fluent. To sound fluent, you must learn how one word flows into the next.
Can you give us a specific example, Daisy? Something our listeners can practice right now?
Of course. Let's take a simple phrase, clean up. 2 words, C-L-E-A-N-U-P. If I say them separately, clean, up, it sounds rigid. But notice that clean ends with a consonant sound, the N, and up begins with a vowel sound, the U. In English, when a consonant ends a word and a vowel starts the next, we move the consonant over.
So it sounds like clean up?
Exactly. Clean up. Everyone, try that with me. Slowly. Clean up. I need to clean up my room.
That makes such a difference. It makes the speech sound smooth, liquid.
And this applies to American English too, doesn't it, Peter?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we Americans link even more aggressively sometimes. Think about the phrase, get it. In American English, the T in get is between 2 vowel sounds when we link it to it, so it becomes a flap T. It sounds like a soft D. Get it. I don't get it.
It sounds so relaxed when you say it. Get it. In British English, we might keep the T clear, get it, or we might use a glottal stop, where we stop the air in our throat, get it. But the principle is the same. We're connecting the sounds.
This leads to a major tip for fluency. Stop studying words in isolation. Start studying phrases. Start studying chunks of language.
I call this lexical chunks. If you memorize the phrase, I would like to, that's 4 words, but your brain should treat it as one single item. I would like to. It reduces the mental processing time.
That's a great point about processing time. When I'm consulting with students, I tell them to build islands of fluency.
Islands of fluency. I like the sound of that. Tell us more.
Imagine you're swimming in a big ocean of English. It's scary. The islands are topics you're very comfortable with. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's a hobby like football or cooking. You should memorize specific phrases and vocabulary for these topics until you can speak about them without thinking. Those are your safe islands.
And then you swim from one island to another.
Exactly. As you learn more, you build bridges between the islands, but you start with what's relevant to you. If you're an accountant, learn accounting English perfectly first. Don't worry about the vocabulary for gardening.
That's so practical. I often see students trying to learn the names of rare animals or obscure kitchen tools, yet they can't describe their own daily routine.
Right. They know the word for hippopotamus, but they can't say, I missed the bus.
Yes, prioritization is key. Now, I want to touch on something phonetic that often blocks fluency. It's the rhythm of the language. English is a stress-timed language.
This is a difficult concept for many learners, especially those from syllable-timed languages like Spanish, French, or Japanese.
Correct. In some languages, every syllable has the same length, da, 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 da. But English is like music. We have beats, da, da, da. We stress the content words, the nouns, verbs, adjectives, and we crush the function words, the prepositions, articles, auxiliary verbs.
And when we crush those function words, we get the most common sound in the English language.
The schwa,
The schwa. It's the sound of a lazy mouth.
That's a wonderful way to describe it. It's a very short, relaxed sound. Look at the word banana. We don't say ba-na-na, 3 strong beats. No, we say banana. The first and last A become schwas. They are weak.
If you pronounce every syllable clearly, you sound robotic. To be fluent, you must learn to hide some sounds and highlight others.
Let me share a story. I had a student named Kenji from Japan. He was brilliant. His grammar was perfect, but native speakers struggled to understand him because he gave equal weight to every word. I am going to the store. It was exhausting for the listener. We worked for 3 months just on rhythm, just on clapping his hands to the beat of the sentence. I'm going to the store.
And did it work?
Miraculously. Once he understood the music of English, his fluency skyrocketed. He stopped overthinking every syllable.
That is a great success story, and it highlights something important. Fluency is physical. It is a motor skill. You cannot learn to play the piano just by reading a book about pianos. You have to move your fingers. You cannot learn to speak English just by reading textbooks. You have to move your mouth.
Which brings us to the importance of input versus output. Many of our listeners are very good at passive understanding. They watch YouTube, they listen to podcasts like this one. That is input. But output, speaking, is often neglected.
I recommend a technique called shadowing. Daisy, are you familiar with it?
Oh, very much so. It is highly effective. But perhaps you can explain your version of it to our audience.
Sure. Shadowing is not just listening and repeating after the audio stops. It is speaking simultaneously with the speaker. You play a podcast, maybe this episode, and you try to match the speaker's speed, intonation, and pauses exactly, just a split second behind them.
It feels strange at first, doesn't it? You feel a bit like a parrot.
You do, but it trains your muscle memory. It forces your mouth to move at a native speed. It forces you to use the schwa and the connected speech we talked about. You stop translating in your head and just follow the sound.
I would add one detail to that. When you shadow, try to copy the emotion as well. If the speaker sounds angry, sound angry. If they sound happy, sound happy. This helps with intonation. English uses pitch to show emotion. If you speak in a flat monotone, you can sound bored or rude, even if you don't mean to.
That is a critical cultural point. In the U.S., we use a lot of pitch variety. We go up and down. Oh, really? That's awesome. If you say, "That is awesome," with a flat voice, I might think you're being sarcastic.
Quite right. In the UK, we also use intonation to signal politeness. Could you pass the salt? With a falling intonation, sounds like a command. Could you pass the salt? With a rising intonation, sounds like a polite request. Fluency includes this emotional intelligence.
I want to pause for a moment, Daisy. We have given a lot of technical advice: connected speech, schwa, shadowing, lexical chunks. It can feel overwhelming.
It can, and I can sense some of our listeners might be feeling a bit of that pressure.
I want to speak directly to you, the listener, right now. I know how hard this is. I learned Spanish as an adult. I remember standing in a coffee shop in Madrid, knowing exactly what I wanted to order, but feeling my throat close up because I was afraid of the waiter's reaction. I felt stupid.
We have all been there. I remember learning French and feeling like a child again. It is vulnerable.
It is. But remember this. The fact that you are listening to this podcast, that you are trying to improve, puts you in the top 1% of learners. Most people give up. You are still here. That resilience is your greatest asset.
Absolutely. Every time you struggle to find a word, it means your brain is growing. Do not be discouraged by the struggle. The struggle is the learning process happening in real time.
Well said. Now, let's get back to some practical tactics. We talked about islands of fluency. Let's talk about narrating your life.
This is a technique I love because you can do it alone. You do not need a teacher.
Exactly. As you go about your day, describe what you are doing in English. I am making coffee. I am pouring the water. The water is hot. Now I am looking for a spoon.
It sounds simple, but it forces your brain to retrieve vocabulary instantly. If you realize you don't know the word for kettle or cupboard, you look it up immediately. It fills the gaps in your daily vocabulary.
And do it out loud if you can, or whisper it. Get used to the sound of your own voice speaking English. Many people hate their English voice. You need to fall in love with your English voice.
Yes, or at least become friends with it.
Now, Daisy, since I'm visiting London, I've noticed some vocabulary differences that sometimes confuse students. They ask, should I learn American English or British English to be fluent?
Ah, the eternal question. What is your take on that, Peter?
My advice is be consistent, but be flexible. Choose one accent to model your pronunciation on because mixing the vowel sounds can be confusing for your muscles, but you must understand both.
I agree. You can speak with an American R, which is very strong, or a British non-rhotic R, where we drop the R at the end of words like car or water. But you need to recognize both.
For example, if I say, I'm walking on the sidewalk in my sneakers, and Daisy says,
I'm walking on the pavement in my trainers.
it's the same meaning. Fluency is understanding that diversity. Don't get hung up on which is correct. They're both correct. Global English is a mix.
And honestly, most native speakers understand both. American movies are everywhere, so British people understand sidewalk, and we have Harry Potter and The Crown, so Americans are learning pavement.
That's true. I watched The Crown on the flight over, actually.
There you go. Immersion. That's the final pillar of fluency I want to discuss. Immersion.
Many students say, I can't be fluent because I don't live in an English-speaking country.
That's a myth. I have students living in London who have been here for 10 years and cannot speak fluent English because they stay in their own language communities. And I have students in Beijing or Brazil who are incredibly fluent and have never left their home country.
It's about creating an environment. Change your phone language to English. Watch movies without subtitles or with English subtitles, never your native language. Listen to English radio while you cook.
Turn your home into a mini London or a mini New York. When you enter your study room, establish a rule: English only, even if you're talking to yourself.
It's about intensity. 10 minutes a day is better than nothing. But if you want real fluency, you need to increase the exposure. You need to let your brain bathe in the language.
Bathe in the language. I like that image. It should surround you.
Daisy, we have covered a massive amount of ground today.
We have. Let's recap the main points for our listeners.
1. Mindset. Relax. Don't fear mistakes. Fluency is flow, not perfection. 2. Phonetics. Use connected speech. Clean up. Use the schwa sound. Focus on the rhythm and stress of the sentence, not just the individual words. 3. Input, output. Use shadowing to train your muscles. Narrate your life to train your vocabulary retrieval. 4. Strategy. Build islands of fluency around topics you enjoy.
And most importantly, keep going. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
I'm starting to feel that jet lag hitting me a little bit now.
Then we should probably wrap up. But Peter, before you go to your hotel for a well-deserved rest, and before our listeners finish this episode, we have something very important to tell them.
We do. You know, listening to this podcast is fantastic. It's a great first step. But listening is passive. If you really want to transform your English, you need to commit to a community.
That's right. The Slow English channel is more than just audio files. We're building a movement of learners who support each other. By subscribing to our channel, you're not just getting a notification, you're signaling to your brain that this is a priority.
When you click that subscribe button, you're making a promise to yourself. You're saying, I'm a learner. I'm consistent. And when you leave a comment, maybe telling us which tip you liked best, or introducing yourself, you're practicing your writing. You're taking action.
We read every single comment. It brings us so much joy to see you helping each other in the comments section. It warms my heart.
So don't just listen and leave. Join us. Be part of the family.
Please like this video if you found it useful. It helps other learners find us. Comment below with your own island of fluency. What is the one topic you love talking about? And most importantly, subscribe.
Join us on this journey. We will be here with you every step of the way.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm Daisy.
And I'm Peter.
And we will see you in the next episode of the Slow English channel. Goodbye.
See you later.